Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's my honour to rise today to speak to Bill 7, the Alberta Human Rights Amendment Act 2015. Bill 7 amends the Alberta Human Rights Act by adding gender identity and gender expression to the list of prohibited grounds of discrimination. For clarity, gender identity refers to a person's internal, individual experience of gender. Gender expression refers to the varied way in which a person expresses their gender through a combination of dress, demeanour, social behaviour, and other factors. Protection from discrimination on the basis of both grounds is relevant to transgender and gender variant people. Their gender identity and expression may differ from the sex they were assigned at birth. Currently, Alberta human rights law includes gender in the list of prohibited grounds of discrimination, which is interpreted as covering gender identity and expression. Nevertheless, trans and gender variant people continue to be highly marginalized and discriminated group within our society. In my consultation with members of the transgender and gender variant community, I heard numerous stories of discrimination. I heard of people who had lost their jobs and people who could not keep a job once they came out. Others told me about their safety concerns while staying in shelters. More told me about how hard it was to find a doctor who would treat them, even for conditions unrelated to their gender identity. Even something many Albertans take for granted, using a washroom on a road trip, can be an issue that creates anxiety and safety fears. I also heard how much work lies ahead of our government. We need to reflect on whether gender needs to be provided on administrative forms. We need to think about wayfinding within the healthcare system for trans and gender variant individuals who are looking for a doctor, and we need to find ways to respect the names that people choose to give themselves. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, more than anything, we need to continue to listen. We need to continue to listen because all Albertans should be able to have the same opportunities to be treated with equal dignity and respect. This proposed amendment will ensure existing rights are clearly reflected in the legislation. It will empower the trans and gender variant community as they confront stereotypes and discrimination. And we know there's still people we haven't heard from, and we're committed to reaching out to hear those voices. The Alberta Human Rights Commission is supportive of the amendment. Madam Speaker, this is a critical issue. Trans and gender variant people are still subject to discrimination. Many still struggle with suicidal ideation, and many are still subjected to violence. Madam Speaker, this government is committed to upholding the rights of all Albertans. We want trans and gender variant people to feel welcome, not only in Alberta, but in this legislature. It's my pleasure to welcome feedback from the Trans Equality Society of Alberta, the Pride Centre in Edmonton, Outreach Southern Alberta, along with the Institute for Sexual Minority Studies and Services and the Centre to End Sexual Exploitation. And thank you to the MLAs for Strathcona Sherwood Park, Calgary Hawkwood, and Calgary Cross for their work, passion, and dedication to this issue. Most of all, I would like to thank the individual members of the trans and gender variant community who shared their stories with us. It's your stories and strength that have brought this legislation forward. Madam Speaker, we have heard their concerns, and Bill 7 is one way we are acting to help address them now. I would now like to move to adjourn debate.